Now here comes a question of toothpaste, right? Whenever somebody asks me this question, I tell them first do miswak. Okay? Because the Prophet ﷺ did miswak during fasting, and this is something that we should do as well. And if you haven't tried doing miswak, don't say it doesn't work. Okay? Don't say that I'm too used to brushing my teeth with a modern toothbrush. You have to try miswak. You have to use it in order to know that it really works. So first of all, use a miswak. Secondly, if you don't have a miswak and you have the need to brush your teeth, then can you use toothpaste? Yes, you can. Why? Because you're not swallowing it. Inshallah, I'll tell you later on as well that it is allowed for a person to even taste the food. Okay? So for example, if you're cooking food and you cannot remember if you put salt in it or not, then can you taste it? Yes, you can taste it. Likewise, there is some food, you don't know if it has spoiled or not, so you want to taste it before you give it to your child. Can you taste it? Yes, you can. As long as you don't swallow anything of it and you spit it out. Okay? So, based on this, you may even use a toothpaste. However, the thing with the toothpaste is that even though you rinse your mouth afterwards, okay, after using it, you will still taste it a little bit. So this is the reason why use only a little bit. Use only a little bit of toothpaste, okay? And rinse your mouth out as much as possible, alright? And it is preferable that you use a miswak instead of a toothbrush and toothpaste. Using the toothstick, meaning the miswak, in order to clean the mouth while fasting is established through the practice of the Prophet ﷺ. Meaning this is something that is completely permissible. So much so that Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she narrated that يَسْتَاكُ وَهُوَ صَائِمْ مَا لَا أُحْصِيَ أَوْ أَعُدُّ. The Prophet ﷺ used to do miswak so frequently, so often in his fasts, that I can't even remember. I cannot even count the number of times that he would do miswak during the day. So this is completely permissible. Now why is this a cause of concern? Because when you're doing miswak, sometimes some miswak are very flavorful. Right? I'm not saying in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, but they do have a flavor. Correct? Likewise, there are also some bristles that may break off and remain in your mouth or come into your mouth. So is that okay? Yes, that's okay, as long as you spit everything out and you don't swallow anything. You're not allowed to swallow anything. Then we learned that the fast is not broken by the application of jila. What is that? Kuhl. Okay? You can apply that to your eyes because you don't eat food with your eyes. Okay? So if anything goes into your eyes, whether it's your eyelashes or kuhl or anything of the like, there is absolutely no harm in that. Then using nasal drops that reach the throat or stomach invalidates fasting. Which means that using nasal drops that do not reach the throat and do not reach the stomach, meaning they're not ingested, then they do not invalidate fasting. So basically, if it is nasal spray or nasal drops that just remain in your nasal passage, I mean they don't really enter your, even if they enter your mouth but they don't enter your throat, okay, it is okay. But if they enter your throat, that means that you have ingested it, you have swallowed it, and this is something that is not allowed. Okay? In Sahih Bukhari we learned that Hassan radhiyallahu anhu, he said, لا بأس بالسعوط للصائم إن لم يصل إلى حلقه. That there is no harm if the Sa'im put something in his nose as a medication as long as it does not reach his throat. Just like you can put something into your eyes. You can put something into your nose as well. But what's the condition? It should not reach your throat. And in a hadith we learned the Prophet ﷺ said that snuff water up the nose deeply, meaning when you're doing wudu, unless you are fasting. Okay? Unless you are fasting. So based on this hadith, you can put things up your nose, but not too deeply that they go down your throat. Alright? Whether it is water or medication or anything of the like. Then it is permissible for the fasting person to take a bath or rinse his mouth with water. Because just like people think that in ihram you cannot take a bath, they say that during fasting also you cannot take a bath. Because what if water goes into your mouth or into your nose or into your eyes? But the fact is that even when you do wudu, you're washing your face. Correct? So there is absolutely no harm. And you can also rinse your mouth with water. Okay? But you have to ensure that the water, what you take in, you spit it out. And this is permissible especially when hot. Because the Prophet ﷺ was seen pouring water on his head because of thirst or because of the hot weather. So in order to cool the body down, because you might get very dehydrated, for that purpose you cannot drink water, but can you wash yourself with it? Can you pour water on yourself? Can you rinse your mouth? Definitely you can. Okay? When performing ablution while fasting, it is not permissible to make excess in cleaning the nose and to take up water into the nostrils to such an extent that there is a risk of it reaching the throat. The same thing. Okay? In case of necessity, food can be tasted. In case of necessity. Okay? Necessity doesn't mean you want to, make sure that the food is just perfect. Necessity. Like you can't remember if you put the chili powder or not. You can't remember if you put a certain ingredient or not. And if you don't put it, the food might be really weird. And everybody's fasting. You don't want that the food that is served to them is not proper. So in that case, you should taste the food. How? Use just the tip of the tongue for tasting and do not allow anything to reach the throat. The same thing, don't swallow. Just taste and spit out. Then we learn that eating or drinking accidentally does not break the fast, provided that the fasting person stops immediately upon remembering, spitting out even the sip of the water or morsel of food that is still in his mouth. Okay? Not that you started having the chocolate bar, so you're like, oh, might as well finish it. It's in my mouth, I might as well swallow it. No. As soon as you remember, you stop immediately. If it's in your mouth, you don't swallow. What's gone in, you don't take out. Okay? You don't vomit. But what's in your mouth, you don't swallow. You will spit that out. What's in your hand, you don't put it in your mouth. Okay? And you don't need to feel guilty about it. If you've eaten something, had something accidentally out of forgetfulness, then don't feel bad about it. Rather rejoice. Because in a hadith we learned, فَإِنَّمَا أَطْعَمَهُ اللَّهُ وَسَقَاهُ. Because indeed, it is Allah who has made him eat and drink. So Allah made you drink, He made you eat, so be happy. Okay?